So I have made some great progress since last time. As you can see, I have a landing screen, something like a landing screen. I even played around with linear gradient. It's kind of more interesting than plain white. And I just have my placeholder title, My School here. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be called My School. I bought a domain name and I even created some icons and logos and stuff. So, wow. If you think coding is hard, graphic design is hard. Anyway, so I created a landing screen here with login and signup, which means I had to refactor my navigator a little bit. So my root navigator now has the auth navigator instead of just the auth screen. Okay, so here's the auth navigator, and that includes the landing screen, which is what we see here. And it also includes the login screen and sign up screen. And I made these into full screen modals. I just kind of like the way that works. So it pops up. If I didn't do that, then when I press that, it would slide in from the side, just like you usually see with navigation. It's like a stack navigator. But I like it popping up like this. It's just kind of cool. Log in or sign up. And one thing I spent a lot of time doing yesterday was adding validation and error handling to the login and sign up process. Let's just see how it works. Login, let's say I do not type in a valid email address. I have this regular expression here. So then I'm gonna have set email error true. And I won't even do that right now. I'll just do this. Oh, enter a valid email. Okay, so I'll do that. And look, it's okay now. But now, password must be 8 characters long. And that's the only validation I have. So if it's 0 or if it's less than 8, that's the only validation I have for passwords right now. But let's see now error handling, okay? Let's say I put in the wrong password. Hey, oh, it's not 8 characters long. I need a couple more characters in there. There we go. So we didn't get the little errors on the front end that I implemented, but I did get an error returned from the back end. It was rejected. So now I have an error pop up. I even created a component, the error dialog. Specifically, the message is dynamic. So I can just pass in whatever the error message is whenever an error happens in the app. So that's nice. But then I can do my real password and go to my dashboard here. And I can also sign up as a new user. I could basically just copy and paste the login screen because it has all the same logic and validation and such, which means I could have just made it one screen and just checked whether they were logging in or signing up. I like keeping them separate because what if I do want to add other things to the sign up screen or the login screen? Like for example, the login screen, I might want to add like a forgot password button. So that's one thing I could add. Sign up screen, I could put in another, like type your password again. I could do all sorts of other things. Right now they're the same, but they might not be the same in the future. So planning on that. In addition to my work on the app, I actually did some work on the back end, believe it or not. Here I have my school app, my school front, my school back. A few things I wanted to change. For example, I mentioned in an earlier video that I didn't want to return the user's password when they logged in. Even though it's encrypted, it's still not good practice. So like login, all I'm returning is the token and the user ID now. I was returning the user's first and last name and their password, and nope, all I need is the token and the user ID. Oh, and big victory, I made a custom URL for the API, and on the front end, I actually did a .m file with the API URL because previously I was just using the actual URL in the actions here. So now, instead of the actual URL, you get the API URL from the .m file. So that's much, much better practice. I mean, there's still a lot of things that need to change on the web app, but that's not what I'm working on right now. I'm working on the mobile app. But what's next? I mean, I have these different screens. I want to be able to view the resources somehow, view the subjects somehow, and then to add them and delete them and edit them, etc. I came up with some fancy designs for each of the screens. See? Aren't they beautiful? I'm clearly not a UX designer. Doing pretty good for myself, not too shabby. But there's a lot to do here. So what I'm thinking of doing next is creating my very own Jira board with tickets to work on. And I want to create tickets that can be accomplished in a morning or an afternoon, or at the most one day. And it will just be a lot less overwhelming to have a list of tickets and just be able to knock them out one at a time. So that's something I want to do next.